Hello again, this is Ben Hitchcock Cross talking to you today from Deliberate Indifference, Wisconsin about Superintendent Keith Posley's personal attorney, Bradley Dagan. Now, why are we talking about Mr. Dagan? Because he participated in a private investigation on behalf of Keith Posley, apparently using Keith Posley's power as superintendent to interview and otherwise run an investigation, or some might say a defensive operation, on behalf of Keith Posley in order to defend Keith Posley against Calvin Furman's charges of fraternization. If you recall from previous videos, on October 13th, thereabouts, 2021, Calvin Furman gave Keith Posley his whistleblower complaint about Keith Posley's relationship with Marla Brunei. Keith Posley apparently took no action, did not inform the board, but then began to run a parallel operation. Mr. Furman went to Matt Chasen of the board's Office of Accountability and Efficiency and told him, and then Mr. Chasen told the board, and a sort of a parallel investigation to Superintendent Posley's private investigation was started, and that fizzled out on, I think, December 6th in a special meeting in which the board officially did nothing. So, we're just going to talk about, there's not very much known. If you Google Mr. Dagan, you're not going to find a great deal, and certainly don't go around contacting him. I don't see any reason why you would need to do that. But Mr. Dagan here, we do have a little bit of information about him, and I just want to share who he is. The picture that I have seen on here, you never can be sure on the from the internet, makes me believe that he is white. It says here that he graduated from law school in 1983, so I think we've got a pretty good idea of his age and experience level there. And then we also know that he was an attorney at Rosen DeJong, a local management side law firm where he presumably got his experience. He is currently the vice president on the board of Revitalize Milwaukee. I'm sure you can look that up. His sort of bio here that we could find on the website says the following: Brad provides legal services in a variety of areas, including business startups, construction contracts, employment agreements, mergers and acquisitions, and real estate development. His litigation practice includes jury and bench trials in state and federal court, arbitration, and mediation. While attending law school at Creighton University, Brad was an assistant editor of the Creighton University Law Review. Okay, and it says here that he was a partner at Rosen DeJong. So, the only other thing that we have from him is a letter that he wrote to Miss Beverly Williams in January 6th of 2022. So, less than a month after we know he was representing Keith Posley with regard to the investigation into Keith Posley's contact with Marla Brunei, which is again in October, November, and December of 2021. So this is, less than a month later. He says, "Dear Miss Hamilton Williams, my office represents Dr. Keith Posley in his individual capacity, and I have been asked to contact you about certain information and commentary about or relating to Dr. Posley that you have been distributing and or posting on internet-based social media platforms. While Dr. Posley and I certainly recognize and respect your First Amendment right of freedom of speech, significant portions of the statements you have recently made and materials you are posting are not protected under the First Amendment. Therefore, I am writing to you to respectfully demand that you cease and desist from making statements or publishing information that contains statements that are untrue, malicious, or recklessly disregard the truth. I have a significant amount of materials in my possession that demonstrates that you are making disparaging and or untrue remarks about my client and his work in his capacity as superintendent of Milwaukee Public Schools. My client has worked hard for many years for the benefit of the students of NPS. I understand that all of us are subject to criticism, and Dr. Posley as a public figure certainly receives more scrutiny than the average person. Nevertheless, Dr. Posley does have the right to be protected from speech that is either maliciously or recklessly disregards the truth. So that's what we have for Mr. Dagan at present, clearly acting on behalf of Mr. Posley in his personal capacity as opposed to his capacity as superintendent here. So, right. Well, we'll see what more information comes up on that. I know that if I was on the board, I would be extremely concerned that the superintendent is having his own personal attorney contact witnesses in this case in his defense, and is apparently using the employment power of Milwaukee Public Schools entrusted to him by Milwaukee Public Schools for the benefit of the students and the school system to defend himself. So that's the update for today. Keep watching. We'll keep you informed. Thank you.